Look at you. Go on, look around this room. Look at the person to your left. Look at the person to your right. Look at the people in those stands, the ones who drove through the night, took time off work, pressed their good clothes for today. They are here because of you. Now let me ask you something before I say anything else. And I want you to sit with this question, not just hear it. Do you know who you are? Not your GPA, not your major, not the clubs you joined or the internships you chased or the score you got. I'm asking something deeper. Do you know who you are? Because today, on the most photographed, most celebrated, most decorated day of your young life, somebody in this room does not know. And my prayer, my entire purpose for standing before you this morning is that you leave here knowing. I want to begin where all things begin for me, with faith. I am a person of deep conviction. I believe that before you were formed in the womb, God knew you. I believe with everything in me that you are not an accident. You are not a coincidence. You are not a mistake your parents made or a product of circumstance or a lottery ticket that happened to hit. You were written. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Whether you share my faith, or you walk a different spiritual road, or you haven't decided what you believe yet, I invite you to hold on to this. There's a purpose in your existence that is bigger than anything any person told you about yourself, bigger than any grade, bigger than any rejection, bigger than any ceiling someone placed above your head. And that ceiling, let's talk about that ceiling. Some of you were told directly or indirectly that people like you don't make it this far. Maybe it was a teacher who skipped over your hand. Maybe it was a relative who called your dream cute. Maybe it was a system that lost your paperwork, underfunded your school, and overlooked your zip code. Maybe it was the voice inside your own head that whispered, at 2 a.m. when the paper was due, "You don't belong here." But you're here. Every diploma in this room is a receipt, proof of payment. You paid with sleepless nights, with sacrifice, with faith when evidence was scarce. You're not here by accident. You're here by appointment. And that right there is the foundation of everything I'm going to say to you today. Now I need to warn you. What I'm about to say, most commencement speakers skip. They skip it because it's uncomfortable. They skip it because today is supposed to feel good. But I'm not here to make you feel good. I am here to tell you the truth. And the truth will serve you longer than applause. Here it is. Success is a mountain. And the higher you climb, the more dangerous it gets. Not dangerous in the way your mama meant when she said, "Be careful out there." Dangerous in a quieter, slower, more seductive way. Let me explain. There's a story in the book of 1 Kings, a prophet named Elijah. This man had just called fire down from heaven. He had defeated 450 false prophets. He had done the impossible in front of the whole nation. And then, right after his greatest victory, he collapsed under a juniper tree and asked God to let him die. Read that again. Right after his greatest victory. Do you know what that is? That is the dark side of success. That is what the mountain does to you when you haven't prepared your soul for the altitude. I have watched brilliant people cross the finish line and fall apart immediately after. I have seen students graduate with honors and not know what to do with a Tuesday. I have watched talented young men and women, gifted, prepared, chosen, walk into the first chapter of their adult lives and crumble under the weight of freedom. Because nobody warned them about what comes after. After the applause fades. After the gown goes back in the bag. After your family drives home. After your phone stops buzzing with congratulations. After the offers don't come as fast as you thought. After the job is harder than the interview. After the dream is slower than the vision. What do you do then? I want to warn you about 3 specific traps that swallow people who aren't ready for the mountain. Trap 1, comparison. You will pull out your phone and within 30 seconds find someone from your graduating class who seems to be doing more, earning more, winning more. And you will let that image, which is curated, filtered, and fundamentally dishonest, become the measuring stick for your life. Stop it. Your race has a different finish line. Your track has different terrain. You cannot compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and expect to come out whole. Trap 2, comfort. This one is sneaky. The moment you achieve something, a job, a salary, a title, a relationship, comfort moves in. And comfort is not your friend. Comfort is the enemy of growth dressed in a warm sweater. The most dangerous place you can live is good enough, because good enough is where greatness goes to die. Trap 3, forgetting. Forgetting where you came from. Forgetting who helped you. Forgetting what it felt like to have nothing. Forgetting God when the account balance looks healthy. Some of you, and I say this with love, some of you will get a little success and forget that you prayed your way through this. Don't do that. The people who forget the climb are the ones who fall the hardest. The mountain is beautiful. The view from the top is worth every step, but climb it with your eyes open. Let me tell you about the most important lesson my grandmother ever taught me. She used to say, in that slow, certain way of hers, "Baby, a stumble is not a fall. And even if you fall forward." I didn't understand that until I was flat on my face. I have failed, publicly, painfully, in ways I am not going to detail today, but that some of you would recognize if I did. I have been rejected from rooms I desperately wanted to enter. I have started things that did not survive. I have trusted people who proved untrustworthy. I have made decisions that cost me years. And every single one of those failures was a tuition payment. The question was never whether I would fail. The question was always, what am I going to do with the lesson? Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the curriculum. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 10,000 times. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job and told she was unfit for TV. J.K. Rowling was a broke, single mother whose manuscript was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter changed the world. But here's what nobody tells you about those stories. It wasn't the failure that made them great. It was what they did in the moment after the failure. The choice they made in the silence after the door closed. They fell forward. Falling forward means this: when life knocks you down, and it will, you land facing the direction you were going. You don't turn around. You don't go back. You get up and you keep moving toward the thing God put in your chest. Now, I need to push this further. I don't just want you to be willing to fail. I want you to be willing to fail big. Small dreams produce small failures. Small failures produce small lessons. But when you dare to dream at the size that God intended, when you aim at something that should be impossible for someone with your background and your resources, when you fall from that height, you collect enough wisdom to build an empire with. The Bible puts it this way. In Proverbs 24, verse 16, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." 7 times. Not once. Not twice. 7. God already accounted for your falls. He built your rising into the plan. I want to speak now to the ones in this room who are carrying a specific kind of failure. The ones who aren't failing because they tried and it didn't work out. The ones who are failing because someone told them they weren't enough and they believed it. Maybe it was a parent. Maybe it was a system. Maybe it was a person who was supposed to love you and instead labeled you. And you've been carrying that label like it's your name. Hear me. The opinion of someone who cannot see your destiny is not your biography. Uninspired people give uninspired verdicts. Prove them wrong, not to show them, to show yourself. This is what I mean when I say, prove them all wrong. Not out of spite, not out of bitterness, out of purpose. Let their disbelief be the fuel, not the fire. Use it. Transform it. Turn every no into a North Star. Now I'm going to get practical with you, because inspiration without instruction is just entertainment. I have a framework I call the triangle of becoming. 3 components, every one of them necessary. Remove any one of them and the structure collapses. The 3 components are dreams, goals, discipline. The first side of the triangle, dreams. A dream is not a fantasy. A dream is not a wish on a birthday candle. A dream is a vision for a future that does not yet exist, but could, if you are willing to build it. I need you to give yourself permission to dream at full volume, without apology, without shrinking it to make other people comfortable, without editing it down to what seems realistic. Do you know what realistic means? It means limited by what we've already seen. But you're not called to repeat history. You are called to make it. So let your dream be enormous. Let it embarrass you a little when you say it out loud. That embarrassment is the gap between where you are and where you're going. That gap is not a flaw. That gap is the journey. The second side of the triangle, goals. A goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream broken into parts you can actually work on today. Here is the single most important thing I can teach you about goal setting. Write it down. Not on your phone, not in your head, on paper, with your hand. There is something that happens neurologically and spiritually when you put pen to paper and declare a future. You're binding yourself to it. You're making a covenant. Then work backward. If in 10 years you want to be here, where do you need to be in 5? If in 5 years you need to be there, what must you accomplish this year? If this year you need to accomplish that, what must you do this month, this week, tomorrow morning? Break the mountain into steps. You don't climb a mountain all at once. You climb it 1 foothold at a time. The third side, and the most important, is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. And let me tell you what discipline actually is, because the word gets misused. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not white-knuckling your way through misery. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is choosing your future over your comfort. Discipline is the daily, ordinary, unsexy decision to do the thing that needs to be done. The writer Octavia Butler, one of the greatest science fiction writers who ever lived, used to write every morning before dawn. Every morning, before the world woke up, before anyone saw her, before there was any audience, any publisher, any fame. She was writing in the dark because she was disciplined enough to build what she imagined. Talent is everywhere. Discipline is rare. That is why ordinary people with extraordinary discipline beat extraordinary people with ordinary discipline every single time. Your competition is not the person sitting next to you. Your competition is the version of you that chooses Netflix over the work. The version of you that hits snooze on your calling. Wake up early. Read voraciously. Practice relentlessly. Seek mentors ruthlessly. Protect your time like it belongs to God, because it does. And one more thing about discipline. Rest is part of the discipline. I'm not telling you to burn yourself to ash. God rested on the 7th day. Not because he was tired, but because rhythm is built into the design of excellent things. Rest, recover, refuel, and then get back to work. I want to talk to you about legacy. Legacy is not the money you accumulate. Legacy is not the awards on your wall. Legacy is not your name on a building. Though some of you will have your names on buildings, and I pray that day comes. Legacy is the question, who did you make better by being alive? There's a passage in Luke, the parable of the talents. A master gives 3 servants money before he travels. 2 of them invest it. 1 buries it in the ground out of fear. When the master returns, he celebrates the ones who multiplied what they were given. And the one who buried it, out of fear, out of self-protection, out of I didn't want to risk it, loses even what he had. Your degree is a talent. Your education is a talent. Your relationships, your skills, your access, all of it is a talent. And you have a responsibility to multiply it, not just for yourself, for the ones who come after you. I need you to understand this in your bones. You're not just graduating for yourself. You are graduating for everyone who looks like you, prays like you, comes from where you come from, and has not yet been given the chance to sit in this seat. You're someone's proof that it's possible. You may be someone's permission slip. There's a 12-year-old watching your life right now. Maybe your sibling, maybe a neighbor's kid, maybe someone you'll never meet, who needs to see that someone from their world made it through. Don't waste that. Give back early. Give back often. Give back before you feel ready, because you will never feel ready, and the world cannot afford to wait for your readiness. Mentor someone. Hire someone when you have the power to hire. Open a door when you walk through one. Send the text. Make the call. Write the recommendation. Invest in a young person who reminds you of yourself, especially if they're rough around the edges, because you were rough around the edges too. The great Harriet Tubman, a woman who risked her life not once, but 19 times to free others, said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves." Part of your calling, class of graduates, is to go back and help people see that they are not trapped, that there's a door, that someone has been through it and survived and is reaching back to say, come this way. There's room. Let your success be a testimony, not a trophy. A testimony is something you share. A trophy is something you polish and put on a shelf for people to admire. Nobody's life was changed by a trophy. Be a testimony. I'm almost done, but before I go, I need to leave you with 3 commands. Not suggestions, commands. Command 1, claim it. Open your mouth and declare your future out loud. I know this sounds too simple. I know it sounds like the kind of thing people put on motivational posters. I don't care. I have watched people think their way into failure and speak their way into victory. Proverbs 18 verse 21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death." What are you saying about yourself? What words are you using in the privacy of your own mind when nobody is watching? Because those words are building something, either a palace or a prison. Claim your career. Claim your healing. Claim your family. Claim the business. Claim the degree you're pursuing next. Claim the promotion. Claim the life that God showed you in your quietest, most honest moments. Say it out loud. Say it until it feels true. Say it especially when it doesn't feel true. Speak to your mountain and watch it move. Command 2, work. Now go do the work. There is no shortcut. There is no algorithm. There is no hack. There is no substitute for the old-fashioned, unglamorous, daily work of becoming who you're supposed to be. Put down your phone for an hour a day and use that hour to build. Read 1 book a month and you'll have read 12 books by this time next year. More than 80% of adults. Wake up 30 minutes earlier and use that time for prayer, for journaling, for vision. Small disciplines practiced daily produce extraordinary outcomes across a decade. Colossians 3 verse 23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." Not for your boss, not for a salary, not for the applause of people who weren't in your corner when you started. Work as if God is your audience, because He is. And when the work gets hard, and it will get hard, remember, the depth of the resistance is the measurement of the significance. The devil does not waste his time on mediocre things. If you're being attacked, you must be worth attacking. Keep working. Command 3, reach back. When you make it, and I fully expect you to make it, reach back. Don't just climb the ladder. Turn around and extend your hand. Pull someone up, break the ladder down, and build a staircase that more people can use. Because at the end of your life, I have been at enough bedsides to tell you this with certainty. At the very end of your life, you will not be thinking about your net worth. You will be thinking about whether you mattered, whether you contributed, whether the world is in any way better because you were in it. That is the only question that matters. Answer it well. Claim it. Work. Reach back. Those three things consistently over a lifetime. That is the formula for a life that was not wasted. Graduates, you have earned this day. But this day is not the destination. This day is the launch pad, the real work, the extraordinary, magnificent, terrifying, beautiful work of your life begins the moment you walk off this stage. So walk off it ready. Walk off it knowing who you are. Walk off it refusing to let anyone else write your story. Walk off it with the faith that the God who brought you to this moment will carry you through every moment that comes after. Walk off it ready to prove them all wrong. Not the ones who doubted you. Prove them wrong with love. Not the systems that overlooked you. Prove them wrong with excellence. Not the voice inside your head that said you weren't enough. Prove that voice wrong with every single day of the rest of your life. Go, build, fall, rise, multiply, reach back, and never, ever stop becoming. Congratulations, graduates. God bless you. God keep you. And may every single ceiling they placed above your head become the floor you stand on. Go prove them all wrong.